Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pregame Network podcast. This is episode 112. I am your host, Dan, joined by, as always, by my bestest pal, Anthony. Say hi, Anthony.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about some more video game news. And this week, I think it's going to be more of like I hesitate to use the word philosophical. I think principalistic is probably a better adjective for it. Anywho, before all that fun stuff, we'll talk about what we've been playing this week and then get into it. So I'm gonna go first just because it's a pretty short list. Um, I am pretty much at the tail end of Uncharted 4. I know I said I was playing through Uncharted 4 again like last week or the week
Uh-huh.
prior to that. Um, Battlefield has been a staple. Helldivers has been a staple.
Yeah.
Um, we started playing through Halo 1 CE,
Mhm.
the anniversary edition, and that was a ton of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed
Oh
it.
yeah, it's been a treat.
Yeah, we got up to the silent cartographer before you had to get off, but I definitely want to resume next weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, and I've been putzing around a bunch with the new Scutari class in Darktide, and boy oh boy, is it a good time. Every new class they add in Darktide is just a complete blast. So
Mm.
my hope for Darktide moving forward is we've had two classes now in the span of I think it's been like 6 months. It's been really like short turnaround time. I want them to add more maps. I want them to add more weapons, and I want like more balanced passes. There's like a bunch of stuff that's like really kind of not necessarily broken, but like a lot of stuff in the Scutari class in particular just isn't working the way that it should. Despite it being a ton of fun, it still needs work. But I again thoroughly enjoying it. Dark Tide is one of those games where I'll just play to play the game because I just like to. I just think it's just so much fun.
Mm.
The carrot at the end of the stick isn't anything tremendous, and I don't have a party to go through Havoc with. Um, but I just like to play the game. I think that Darktide is probably the best feeling horde shooter, at least in the first person perspective, on the market right now. And I think a lot of the people who play it would be inclined to agree with me. So I know I say that like all the time, but I'm saying it again. God damn it! It's a great game. It's a lot of fun. So that's what I've been playing this week.
Yeah.
Anthony, what about you, buddy, old pal?
So obviously I have my own rotation as well. Got my fighting games, all the stuff that you just mentioned that I was playing with you. A lot
Hmm.
of Rivals, a lot of Helldivers, all that kind of stuff. On the side, I played a handful of different games. It was the Sonic anniversary this week, so I was just sticking around in different Sonic games. Up to the point where I finally, without spending any money, I finally got my hands on Sonic X Shadow Generations that came out last year. I'm sure you heard me mention it at least once.
Yeah.
It's an update to Sonic Generations, which came out like 12-ish years ago, something like that. It came out a while ago. It was whatever anniversary of that year it was celebrating, where it's like every level is from a previous Sonic game. Like that's the whole deal. And this new version came out, and they just did like a kind of small expansion with Shadow, but they didn't touch the core game, which kind of sucks. But I mean, it's a good game overall. I still like Sonic Generations a lot. This version of it is kind of weaker in like they went in and added like a bunch of like they redid the script for some reason. It's like it's a Sonic game. Like why are you going back in and adjusting things like the script and some of the character designs and the colors and whatnot? It's some weird changes that just don't need to be made. You know.
Hmm.
But the main draw is obviously the shadow stuff. My only real complaint about it is that there wasn't a whole lot of it. It is an expansion. That's the best way to put it. It's its own little side thing. It's kind of like when Mario did that Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. It's like the Bowser's Fury of that, if you ever heard of that particular game where they just
I've
take
heard of it. I've never played it.
yeah, they take the engine, they do something else with it. But the thing about Shadow Generations is that it just feels really good to play. Like it is
Mm.
like I
Like
like
Darktide.
yeah. It's like I really enjoy Sonic Adventure 2. A lot of people do. There are games after Sonic Adventure 2 that I really, really enjoy, like Unleashed, Generations, obviously. I've played around all the different games, but this is like the first 3D game in a while that just like it feels like, oh, you could just make a whole game like that and it would almost feel like an Adventure 3 in a way. Like, no shade at the other games in between these two, but it's like this one felt really good, and it's I don't want to say wasted because who knows what they'll do with it, but it's kind of wasted on this small but satisfying expansion. So I played that. I have my gripes with it, weird gripes that don't really pertain to gameplay, but it is a lot of fun. And then the other thing I played DuckTales. You know DuckTales,
Really?
Dan? Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
of course I know.
DuckTales?
Everyone knows DuckTales.
But do you know the game?
Yeah, it's a side-scrolling adventure, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Specifically, I played the remastered version, which is quite frankly, it's more of a remake. It's the same way. I'm not going to go off on a tangent, I swear. The same way people argue about is the Dead Rising Deluxe remaster a remaster or a remake. This is more of a remake to DuckTales than Dead Rising Deluxe remaster is to Dead Rising. They changed up the level layouts a little bit, but left enough in there where it's familiar to you. They updated the graphics. Obviously, you got 3D and painted backgrounds. You got the characters, which look like they're just drawn in the style of the show. Very fun, short but sweet kind of game. It's charming to me in a way that like just tickles me the right way, because like for this remaster they added like the whole story component where they made it feel like an episode of the TV show, kind of, where they got whoever was still alive from the original DuckTales run, all of them showed back up, including one woman who was literally 99 years old, and it was the last thing she ever recorded. And I'm just like, sounds a little rough, but goddamn, if you don't love the heart of bringing these guys together for something cool like this.
Speaking of which, happy
cool.
birthday to Mel Brooks. He turned 100 yesterday.
Oh yeah, he did turn 100 yesterday. But it's just like, it's with the game, I enjoyed it a lot. It's one of the better licensed games out there. It's crazy to think that the original version of this came out in 1989. Like it wasn't even in the 90s, and they nailed this formula, and all they needed to do was tune it up a bit, fresh coat of paint, and it's still enjoyable today. And they went the extra mile with all the little cutscenes and whatnot. It's almost to the point where I'm like, I wish they kind of made a hot off the remake sequel. Kind of like what Bionic Commando did when they did Rearmed, and then the guys got to do Rearmed 2.
I remember that. That was a long time ago.
That's another good remake. I really enjoy Rearmed. It's shockingly not on the back. I wanted to play it right after this, actually, because it was the first thing that came to mind. It's not backwards compatible, which is surprising because Rearmed 2 is. I don't know if there's a weird licensing thing going on there, but yeah, so DuckTales, very fun. Great music. Charming little game. It makes me smile that such a thing exists. But that was the gist of it. For the Sonic thing, I did dick around and play some other games, but that's really it. I tried playing Quake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I booted it up and I immediately put it down. I'm like, I don't feel like it right now. That's all I've been playing. That's really all I've been playing.
That's happened to me so many times on so many different games.
Yeah.
I get the urge to play like in the moment, and just because of the way that the industry is with just the sheer volume of the size of the games and the infrastructure that we have in this country with internet speed, you just gotta wait like at least 30 minutes if it's an 80 gig or even 100 gig game, and then by the time it's done and you launch it, you're just like, eh. And then you just go do something else. That's exactly what happened to me with this past week with Arc Raiders. I was like, I kind of feel like playing it again. It's just a really good feeling game to play. And then it finally installed, and I was just like, maybe later. And I just did something else. Oh, God. So, anywho, was that it for you? Or was that was all for this week?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we have an update for this week for Layoffs, for specifically Bungie. I'm assuming that's what you were referring to.
Well, I mean Layoffs in general, but Bungie will obviously be the most that we talk about, but I just figured I'd go through and give like a little update because, we talked a lot about Layoffs recently, and it was all rumored stuff, but all the insiders were saying late June into July we're going to see a lot of shoes drop, so to speak, a lot of follow through on this. So far, there's been a handful of studios laying off, like a lot of smaller studios or niche studios that like do things like VR, mobile, all that kind of stuff. There's like a handful that, all together combined, like somewhere around 1,000 people got laid off. Just a collective like culling of like the smaller bottom area, right?
Yeah.
One to follow up on what we did on what we talked about is Compulsion Games. Those layoffs actually ended up going through. Major reduction in staff. Everybody's online. Nothing hard confirmed. Like, we didn't get a statement, I don't think, but it's like everyone's posting like their farewell messages and all that kind of stuff online. So I think they've lost about 150 people so far. I think that's the estimated number. So that's just another one in the pile. I have a feeling that they're going to be losing more people as the month progresses. Nothing on Ninja Theory yet, just because I think what ended up happening was that it was kind of signaled, and we talked about it, where it's just like, oh, you can announce this game and hopefully somebody comes to buy you. And I think it's still kind of up in the air right now. So I'm not sure too many of those went through, or at least nothing we've heard about. So we might hear more about that next week. But Daniel, obviously the biggest one, the one I'm sure you've seen plenty of, the one I've been throwing tons of posts at, is Bungie. The hammer fell directly on top of Bungie.
Yeah,
with
square on the nail that is Bungie.
Yeah, they're probably going to end up at that rumored total of 400, but I think confirmed so far is around 300.
It's about high 200s, like 290 something.
Yeah, 290 something.
So pretty much the entire Destiny team got let go, with the exception of, oh man, it like the hotfix team or something like that, like something very, very, very small, just to essentially keep the
maintenance
game
mode.
Maintenance mode, exactly. But it didn't just stop at Destiny. A bunch of different people on the Marathon team got laid off as well. A lot of leadership, interestingly enough, on the dev team, and I don't know if this is confirmed. Maybe you've heard more about this or not, but Jason Jones, the co-founder of Bungie, and he was their chief vision officer, which is essentially like deciding what the company is going to do going forward, like what projects they're going to take on, and how they operate, like the overall vision of Bungie as a studio. That was Jason Jones's thing, and it should be, because he helped found the company. I don't know if it's confirmed, but apparently he was laid off as well, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. And like, I'm not some at least not anymore, some fanboy of Bungie that, you know, they can do no wrong. These people shouldn't be let go, blah, blah, blah. As much as it stings that Destiny is basically done at this point, I knew it was coming. Everyone knew it was coming. And as much as it stings that Destiny is through, you know, these people were just kind of sitting around doing nothing, waiting for the axe to fall to begin with anyway, after the announcement. So like, them being laid off is not a shock whatsoever. But Jason Jones, that's kind of shocking to me. I guess I shouldn't really be shocked, because they let go of Marty O'Donnell years ago, and he's responsible for creating what?
That was there was some underhanded stuff as far as that's concerned. Like, this is more of just like, I don't even know how to really say. I mean, this is just him getting caught in the crossfire. I mean, as far as like, what's the best way to put this? Like, if you're leadership with leadership above you, typically you have a target on your back that's always there if multiple failures happen. You know?
No, that's fair. And you know, it's really fascinating to watch from the outside looking in at this point too, because everyone kind of had a suspicion that Bungie was this really seedy place to work for. The leadership was always scummy. It was never truly confirmed, but now all their dirty laundry is really being aired out, and it couldn't be more apparent that has been the case for quite some time. And essentially, Bungie is Bungie in name only at this point.
It was like that for a while. Honestly.
It was like that for a decent amount, but especially with it's really like Jason Jones for me in particular. Now, I don't really want to run with the fact that he was let go, because last I heard it was just a rumor. I don't think he's the type of person that would post on like Twitter or something. I don't think he's ever done that. It just seems to be the allegation that he was actually let go. And then Justin Truman, the studio head, he stepped down, which is probably like leave or we're firing you situation.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I would be shocked if it wasn't that. But again, it was not only isolated to Destiny. A bunch of Marathon developers got hit as well. I would be shocked if Bungie was still around post marathon contractual obligations of like
Yeah.
delivering X amount of content. Like truly, at this point,
No, yeah,
they have nothing.
yeah, they're. I mean, my whole thing is like I've seen with these layoffs, there's so many people, especially the insiders, because the insiders, they are buddy buddy with a lot of these people,
Yeah.
and it's kind of this like almost parasitical relationship where it's just like they get the inside scoop and they act all buddy buddy with each other. But obviously, the journalists and insiders, they had like say what you will about developers and individual importance, but like these insiders have no importance whatsoever. They just report on things. So it's like they get all gushy and they're just like, oh, some of the best talent in the industry is getting ousted, and you guys are laughing and celebrating this because obviously a lot of people have been waiting for like whether it's older Destiny players that are fed up, people who fell out of love with Bungie post Halo. There's a lot of people who were very, I guess they wanted some kind of, they're very vindictive right now because they are thrilled with the fact that Bungie has essentially a major black eye one way or the other. Like they're in their death throes essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just you have all these people, online between the people that got laid off and these journalists and insiders are just like, I can't believe you guys would say this, and everybody's already doing cover work like, oh, it wasn't their hiring practices, it wasn't their content practices, everybody's
Oh, it was
already
all of it.
yeah, I know. But my point is they're saying, no, it wasn't all of that. It's just the guys at the top. Sony doesn't know what they're doing, which is also a factor, but it's not like everybody's trying to blame one figurehead at the top so they can ignore all of the issues that led to this between talent and hiring and content and how they handled certain things. Everyone's just trying, they just want to blame Sony and nothing else.
Yeah.
And it's been a mess.
Yes and no. I mean, from the communities that I'm a part of, it's been pretty widely accepted at this point that Bungie leadership has been a problem for years now. And while the overall sentiment is that people feel terrible that like the entire Destiny team got laid off and a bunch of marathon people, blah blah blah. You can't really have it both ways. It's this was going to come one way or the other, especially. I should have seen this coming after they announced that Sony was acquiring Bungie. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay, and just moved on with my day. But it did happen for a reason. They were in the red and they needed money. Sony came along, acquired them for $3.6 billion. Turns out $765 million of that was they overpaid by that amount of money. And it's been a fucking mess from day one. And I'm sure it's been even worse behind closed doors. But that it's just the layoffs are it's just a thing at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Avoidable, unavoidable. I mean, whatever. And I'm going to use this as a segue because I just find it absolutely fucking hysterical that, and I know you heard about this too. This is more of a small thing before we get into the Steam machine, because I know both of us have thoughts on that. Sony went on record like yesterday or the day before, and they said that they were recommitting themselves to live service games and like greenlighting more projects around live service games, such as Destiny and Marathon, because those games are doing so well right now. When this came out, all the communities that I'm a part of, like, it was like that Mass Effect moment of Shepard's head like doing fucking 3 spins while he's walking backwards. Like, excuse me, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, everyone was just so stunned by this. Like, what do you mean? You canned the Last of Us live service game because, I mean, I'm sure it was both on Naughty Dog and Sony's part, but like Naughty Dog didn't want to put the work in. I'm sure Sony was glad they didn't have to dump the money into that. They greenlit Concord for almost $500 million, which is the biggest video game flop in video game history. They shit-canned Destiny, even though, yeah, maybe it wasn't in the greatest spot, but at the very least, it had a dedicated community. And lo and behold, all it took to bring over 100,000 people back were an update that actually gave the players what they wanted, go fucking figure. And now your only game, your only live service game that isn't Helldivers, might I add, because technically Sony owns them as well. Your only live service flagship game, Marathon, is struggling to even make it to player numbers that was Destiny's lowest point. I know I keep on bringing it back to that, but it's still important to note. And I'm not making a comparison directly like apples to apples, because you and I both know they're two very different types of games, but the player numbers still speak volumes. Like, you're going to recommit yourself to these live service games, but you destroyed the one thing that was probably your only light at the end of the tunnel, at least like as far as safe bets go. And now your only game that's actually alive and receiving live service support is basically on its deathbed at this point as well, because it's just way too hardcore for everybody. Or no, it's too hardcore for like half the audience, and the other half are salty about what they did to Destiny. So like they really are just in a lose-lose. And I would guarantee you, Anthony, that the vast majority of people that are aware of what's going on are they see this, and I would put my money on the fact that whenever they announce whatever live service game they're publishing next, I would bet anything that it's going to be boycotted by more than a few people. And I just, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, they have learned nothing. It's incredible. Incredible. They couldn't even wait a couple weeks before they said some stupid shit like this. Anyway, go ahead.
On the as far as what comes next, did you mean for Sony or for Bungie that they would be boycotted? Which one did you mean?
Well, I meant whatever Sony puts out next in the live service realm is what people are going to basically say fuck you to.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if it'll be a direct boycott, but the general disinterest and off-put customers, it's going to feel like a boycott anyway. My only take on this, and like you're sitting there, your head spinning, and my head was spinning on this too. And it occurred to me, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to think or hear this, but it occurred to me, I'm just like, they're not looking to like build up a live service game, and they're not looking to do it for the reasons that they're talking about, where they want to revitalize the game industry, right?
No, the reason is they want the money. That's the only reason.
Yes, but not even just that, because if it was a matter of like building and maintaining just a reasonable cash flow, they would have stepped into the Destiny frame much earlier, and instead of closing it at the very tail end where it's just not salvageable, they would have, whipped Bungie into shape on Destiny. What they're trying to do, Dan, they're essentially gambling. They looked at the last 10 years of failure, and whatever timeline you want to put it on, all the years of them not getting their foot in the door, and they said, we still want this. They want a lightning in a bottle live service moment where they get back 1,000 times what they put into it.
They kind of had that with Helldivers, but it's been years at this point, so like that's not in the "what have you done for me lately" bucket.
Yeah, no, it's. I don't think.
Also, Helldivers isn't even remotely close to being as deep as. I mean, you might roll your eyes, but it's not as deep as Destiny. Right? Like, you can change your gear around, but it's not like you're not really min-maxing anything. Not in the same vein you would be in Destiny or Marathon. So I don't like. I agree with you when you say that they're looking for a lightning in the bottle type of live service game moment. I don't think they're going to find it. And if they do, I'll be stunned.
Yeah, I can't stress enough that it's like the reason I even go down this path is because the hubris of them saying they want to revitalize the market after everything they've done in the live service space. It is purely greed driven, and I know that sounds obvious. I know how that sounds, but I'm saying like they still have the dream, the hope that they will just be able to like push something out the door and people will just buy into it the same way that Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Fortnite, Roblox, all these games just have passive cash flow from like kids and burnouts and adults that only
Well,
play one game. Like
I
they
agree
like
with you, but I mean, are you taking into account the fact that all these franchises that you just listed, they have essentially like legacy name brand power at this point? Like
well
you
the,
want to make something
you're
brand new, like nothing is going to
you're
carry the
you're
kind of
over
weight that like I'm
you're
overthinking it.
you're overthinking it because you're looking at them as they are now established. I'm saying they want to get in on the ground floor and have success to the tune of these games. Not that they want like Fortnite's generated like what like $5 billion or something
Something
since it got
ridiculous.
established. They want something that like it hits the ground running and does not stop running. That's why like
But so
when you but that's why I
are
kind of
you
groaned when you brought up Helldivers. I'm like, Helldivers is an example of like a solid game that gets reasonable support and
right?
reasonable revenue stream.
Well, I mean,
That's
that was a
that's
lightning in the bottle moment because it's just so much fun to play and it's a spectacle, but
no,
it's
but
not the same animal as like a Destiny or a
yeah,
Fortnite.
like I get that it's not like well, when I say like lightning in a bottle moment, I mean like what's that game
It's
that
hard
just
to
came out?
quantify.
What's that game that just came out? The Chameleon, the one where you hide and you paint yourself.
Mecha Chameleon,
Mecha
Mecha
Chameleon or something.
something.
Yes, that the one that just made $6 million. They want that on the live service scale. They want to hit the ground running and they want to make money year
Right.
over
No,
year over year.
I understand that. I just the problem, like they talk about not wanting to take these big risks and play, well, like that was like the logic behind them not greenlighting a Destiny 3, right? Like, and I'm sorry, I hate to keep on bringing it back to this. It's the only like point of reference that I really have right
No,
now with
Destiny,
Destiny, with Sony's
Destiny
motivation to this.
Yeah. No. Destiny is relevant and not relevant at the same time. It's not
Yeah.
relevant because it's not the game they're looking for. It's relevant because it was a salvageable and at one point successful live service game. I'm trying to quantify how ridiculous their standards are.
No,
Like
I know.
you're coming at me very reasonable because you're a reasonable person. You're just like, oh well, it's kind of ridiculous to want Fortnite money overnight, right? I'm like, oh yeah, but that's not. We're not talking about what you or me think is
I know.
reasonable. But yeah, it's like they want something that succeeds out the door and survives. Like that's why I'm saying like Helldivers doesn't do it for them. Because number one, they don't fully own it. I mean, they do technically own it, but what I mean to say is they want something that they invest in from the ground floor, so they will never lose their hold over it. They want
Right.
complete control over it, and they want a solid and consistent revenue stream that never stops.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I just have no idea what that could possibly be. And they want it on the scale of the biggest names in gaming, and like you need. It's got to have one of two things, in my opinion, maybe both. Number one, it's got to have name recognition. People need to know what it is before they even take out their money to purchase it. Or number two, it's got to be like you said, like in this scenario, your definition of a lightning in the bottle game, where it's outrageously fun. It's good to play with friends. It's good to play a lot. Like it just any way you slice it, you can have fun playing it, and it's just there's no other way to say it. It's a ton of fun. I don't know if they're willing to have some guy like walk into the Sony offices, pitch his idea, and like have something be incubated from the ground floor off of a pitch. Like it's just, oh my god, it's just so crazy what they said. Oh god, and we can go on and on and on talking about this, but I really just we're just fucking talking in circles, dude.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be a small thing. We kind of carried on with it a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it was definitely worth mentioning in the same breath as all these layoffs.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Because just like completely tone deaf after what just transpired in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like at least wait a month or something before you say something stupid like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't want to send us talking in circles, but we were both surprised at this. It's just not even just disrespectful, for whatever,
That's a good word for it.
We have disagreements on like Destiny and where it could have gone and whatnot. It's not just disrespectful at that level, which it is. I'm sure there are some people hurt and looking at it. It's just the fact that they have failed so monumentally.
Yeah.
And so many other people in the industry have failed so monumentally. We've all learned you can't do this overnight. It's not something you have full control over. You've closed down multiple projects. You have another failure coming out soon with Fair Games. Whenever that comes out, that's going to flop too.
It's gonna fall right in his face.
Like, why are you still spending money like it's 12 years ago and nobody knows what the fuck a live service is?
No,
so
why are you still spending money like it's still COVID and then everyone is just sitting inside playing video games all day long?
No, I get that. That's like a whole other conversation. I'm specifically talking about like they are spending money like it's the gold rush advent period of live service games where you can throw a bunch of shit at the wall and something would stick immediately. But now, like, the costs are higher and the prospects are much lower, and they've failed in this space repeatedly. So I just,
they keep on stepping on rakes, fucking left and right.
I don't know, man.
It's so bad.
It's ridiculous.
It's so bad. It's honestly hysterical.
It is. It's crazy. That's all I had to add to that.
Yeah. Speaking of high costs, this is the perfect time to transition over into the Steam machine.
Perfect.
And boy, oh boy, does it cost a pretty penny. Where exactly do you want to start with this? Because there's like a decent amount to unpack here.
I mean, we may as well just start with the news proper with like what was announced. So if you want to lead with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Steam machine is officially launched. I don't know what day it was. It was like 3 or 4 days ago at this point. But everyone was speculating as far as how much it was going to cost for a while, and they announced the price. And did they announce the price the day that it launched, or was it like a couple days prior? Like, it was very, very close to the launch date.
A couple days prior, I want to say.
Yeah. Anyway, so the base version of the Steam machine, the 512 gig, no controller, just the box itself, is $1,049 US. That's just right out the gate. Base asking price. That is a lot of money. $1,000, not including taxes. And not including a controller. So if you wanted the controller and the controller plus like the 1 terabyte model, because let's be honest, nobody that's buying a Steam machine is getting the 512 gig version. First of all, the audience
is modular to a certain degree, though, right? Isn't it? Like
yes, okay. It is. But I don't know how easy it is to not only replace the drive, but like you need to reinstall Steam OS, which I'm sure is easy enough, but that's still something that you have to do. So the 512 gig base is $1049. The 512 with the controller is $1128. The 2 terabyte is $1349, and the 2 terabyte with the controller is $1428. So you're talking about like you're with taxes and everything. If you're going to get let's say the 2 terabyte, I'm sorry, I thought it was 1 terabyte that it came with. If you're going to get the 2 terabyte or above, at the end of the day, you're going to be pushing about $2,000. Like you're flirting with that price point. And what makes all of this worse is that the hardware that it's running is all, essentially it's all old hardware that, it could technically run current AAA games at 4K 60, but that's lab conditions where they are tuning the game and the system exactly to the specs that it needs to be to hit those metrics. It's not like that is not real world results, and it's just too expensive. It's too expensive. Apparently, the original price was supposed to be somewhere in the realm of like $650 to $750, which would have been far more reasonable and much more in line with I think what they are trying to do. I mean, I don't want to take too many shots at Valve for this because they have said that they wanted to price it at that former price point, but they just couldn't based on the current what.
I was going to say, like, I also don't want to take too many pot shots at Valve because, number one, I think it's actually humorous because this kind of goes back to what we were talking when we were talking about the price back and forth, and we were humorously both right.
Do you remember what I said? Like, this is I don't get to say this very often, Anthony, least of all to you, but I said I'd be shocked if it was anywhere under $900. I said I thought it was going to be 1,000 base. And I hit the nail right on the fucking head, my friend.
Well, actually,
I don't get a lot of these, like, oh boy.
We're both right, but if I wanted to, I would say I'm more righter than you because my price range was exactly what they wanted to do initially. So, I mean,
it's what they wanted to do. It's not what they did. That
Yes, I
doesn't
know,
count.
Daniel. That's why I'm saying it's. What do you mean it doesn't count? These are extremely. These circumstances are extreme. This is it's perfect. They
Yeah,
were
but
strong
what
armed
they
into your
wanted
price
to do
range.
and what they actually did are two different things. You don't get to say that because you had your prediction and they wanted to make it that. That doesn't make it more right.
That makes
Get
it
out of
perfect.
here.
That makes it perfect because not the hardware. I'm actually very impressed with the Steam machine because it basically delivers exactly what I was expecting them to deliver. They were just thrown into the blender with price like everybody is, because you're talking about like, you're talking to me about how like that price is outrageous, and I agree with you, but that's what's going to be going on.
Well,
That's what's going to happen going
I don't
forward with the
disagree with
consoles.
you. I don't disagree with you on the hardware portion of it. I think what it is really cool, but it is not worth the asking price. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think
Especially since it's older hardware. Like it's a really tough
no,
sell.
I get you.
I mean, I get
Yeah,
the fact that everything is more expensive now,
yeah.
but I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think it should still be on the company to eat whatever cost. I mean, I know that they probably can't eat like a $400 deficit between the
Yeah.
manufacturing, the hardware, and the asking price, but I don't know, man. I think it misses the mark. I do. I think it's too much money.
That's so here's the thing. I think obviously you mentioned you appreciate that everything's more expensive right now. I no company wants to eat that. Valve in particular isn't really posed to do that. It's not like Sony or PlayStation where they have an ecosystem that is exclusive to what product they're putting out. This is it.
Right.
At the end of the day, don't worry, they'll get a lot of money from it because obviously they still have the marketplace cornered on that front, but it's Valve is in a unique position where they are not a manufacturer that is built or wants to or really is going to eat the cost of the hardware. Now that being said, when the next generation rolls around, the prices are going to be that and higher. So I think that while you're cognizant and appreciate the fact that everything is more expensive, I don't think the reality is really set in for you just yet.
Reality of what exactly?
The price, like, it's just like, I don't want to use the term new normal, but it's like that price is going to be like the average or below average asking price of products in that price range.
So that's just ludicrous. Like, this is going to be. I understand the logic of your argument, and I don't even necessarily disagree. But it's just that's just not good enough. It's really unacceptable in my opinion. Like I'm paying. I'm not gonna go into a deep dive in my financials, but I have to pay rent. I just spent $500 on food a couple days ago between a Costco run and I got like a bunch of meat at a butcher. I'm trying something different. But the point being is that it was a $500 grocery shop, which is outrageous. But like I need to feed my family. And I wasn't gonna not do that because we needed the food.
Obviously.
Like, you take the same argument and you apply it to essentially anything entertainment. It doesn't matter if it's video games, movies, or TV or whatever.
Yeah.
You apply it to entertainment. Like, this is not going to be something that the average person is going to be able to afford. I'm not even just talking about the Steam machine. I'm talking about Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo. While I'm at it, like the prices for these consoles are just absolutely absurd. And I know I've gone on a rant several weeks ago about the price increases just across the board with everything, right?
Yeah.
I think the main point that I'm trying to make here is the fact that you and I love video games. We've based a lot of our lives around the art form. We'll be gaming until we die, one way or the other. I think that's safe to say for the both of us.
Yeah.
The average person, I don't think, is going to be able to justify spending the amount of money these companies are asking for. And it's like you said before, it's only going to get worse. Whenever the next generation hits, and we find out the price of these new consoles, and especially in light of what Micron said this past week about how consumers should expect this to essentially be the new norm for the next 5 years or so. That doesn't really bode well.
Short of something extraordinary happening, that's probably where it's trending. I hear there's some kind of there's some kind of lawsuit brewing because, like, like any company, when they're provided a situation like this, they will try and squeeze it for everything it's worth.
Yeah.
And there's some rumors about underhanded practices, like you mentioned Micron. They basically locked in a bunch of deals where they're essentially setting a price floor for themselves for the foreseeable
Yeah,
future,
which should be
which is insane.
illegal.
On the topic of the Steam machine, according to Valve, how the RAM thing is happening right now is like they get a call once a month, they get a price. If they don't agree to that price, they don't get the RAM, and that supplier does not call back.
That's essentially extortion.
Exactly. So there might be short of like some kind of bubble bursting, or it turns out most of this shit is just like a price fixing racket. It is going to trend this way for a while. So,
which is
hopefully something
just
changes.
Bonkers.
But, yeah.
Which goes back to my original point of like the average person just flat out can't afford this on an entertainment box.
Yeah.
Like $10, $15, $20 a month on Netflix or any other streaming service. That's one thing. I'm sure that all the major players are gonna. Well, they already have. They have financing options for these consoles now, but like you're charging upwards of $1,000 for a console at the end of the console generation is like we've never had this before. Historically speaking, the longer in a console generation that you get, or the deeper into the generation that you get, the lower the price becomes. And this is the first generation, at least in modern gaming history, if I'm not mistaken, that they're just going up. Xbox had their third price increase for the year, like last week, which is I don't understand, Anthony. Oh, I do understand. I just don't like it.
Sony, and Xbox have all raised their prices. Nintendo did so preemptively. Sony and Xbox have been doing it purely based around market reaction. Sony got off a little easier because apparently they had some kind of deal beforehand where they had like a surplus of RAM, so they're kind of in a better spot than Xbox. But it's hitting everyone, and includes Valve.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of begs the question as far as like who is the Steam machine really for? Because it's clear that Valve is trying to push into the console market at least a little bit with the form factor in their marketing on the Steam machine itself.
I'll answer that question for you. It was for people who either needed a secondary machine on the go, for something to prop up, sit down and play, or for people who can't be bothered with putting their own computer together or picking up the PC parts or going and buying these massive towers. It was going to be the console option in the PC market, and I think the hardware really reflects in that. And I can't. It's just I understand where you're coming from with the price. Like they are priced out, but that's the thing. It's like the market it's for is technically being priced out. And it's not like a matter of Valve, being able to react to the market forces. It's just unfortunate timing. It's
I don't disagree.
Because I'm not going to rehash what we said when the thing was announced, but this really did. I think they would have nailed it at that price point, at that lower price point.
I totally agree. I probably would have bought one at that price point because when I say like who is this for, ironically, it's the perfect machine for me of how and when that I play video games the vast majority of my time. It would have been the perfect piece of hardware for me in particular.
Fills a gap you needed filled. Yeah,
and like at that point, let's say I didn't have the laptop that I have. I know we spoke about it last month when I got it. The laptop that I have now was $2,000. For the price to performance ratio that I'm getting in this laptop in particular, it's great. I thought it was worth every penny. It's running everything that I needed to. I've never had to turn it the power settings to the highest setting for any game that I play once. It's been perfect for me. If the Steam machine would have been like $600 to $750 in that range, and I was in the market for a new gaming device, I probably just would have kept my old laptop because it was fine as like a web browser, because that's essentially the only other thing that I would have used it for. And I would have used the Steam machine as my console essentially because I'm like full blown Steam library at this point. I hardly ever game on my Xbox anymore, and I haven't owned a PlayStation. I haven't bought a PlayStation since the original PS4, so it's been quite a while for me from console. the Steam machine would have been perfect for somebody like me, but I just can't justify spending $1,000 plus on a machine that has the hardware that it does. And like I know that it's not going to be able to run certain things at the point that I'm expecting it to run at, or that it would be like my standard essentially. You're less in that camp than I am, but that's just kind of what I've become in my gaming career, and I'm not ashamed of it. That's just how I want to play my games, and I just wouldn't have had that option with the Steam machine. So it just sucks all the way around. It's a shitty situation. Valve did what they had to do from like a numbers standpoint, which is fine, I guess. It just
I mean,
the scalper scooped them all up already.
Yeah, I would be. I'm not. You know me. I'm not a big like. Oh, have some pity for the corporation. And obviously, I need to hear more things that happen behind closed doors, like when everything, the dust settles, so to speak. But it's like I find it hard to really place blame on anyone outside of the current market and like the whole discussion around RAM and AI. Like it's like I understand. You know, like I can't expect a company that has no true desire for the market and it is not reliant on breaking into the market. You know, I can't expect them to take like a $500 hit per machine. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, I agree with you. It just, like I was just saying, it's just unfortunate timing with the current climate of just electronics in general.
Yeah.
Which leads us into RAM and AI, because it doesn't seem like it's really going anywhere anytime soon, especially with Micron locking their prices in and essentially just creating their own profit. But what is going on with this segment? Because I've been, whatever update or news story you might have had, I just haven't seen it yet.
I mean, you pretty much reiterated throughout all of that.
Oh, okay.
You got to the Micron, you got to the like all the companies locking, and that was going to be what we led to at the Steam machine. But that's you kind of coupled it all together neatly.
Okay. That was unintentional, but cool.
Yeah. The only leftover thing I would say is did we at all talk about PlayStation and all this? Because apparently with all these costs affecting Valve, like the same thing's happening to the next PlayStation. Apparently internally the cost of the parts for the PlayStation 6 have shot up from $750 about to $1,000 with all the changes that
we
are
did
going
not
on.
no, we haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah.
And that's wild, like which means that the next PlayStation will absolutely be in the $1,000 price point range.
Yeah.
It will be.
I can't see it being cheaper than $900.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Any person with a normal job that's not making like an obscene amount of money, I just don't see how they are justifying it. Unless you are a diehard gamer like you and I, you know, like I don't.
And but here's the thing, like I agree with you on that, but it's like, where the fuck are the games?
That's another great point. Where the fuck are the games? There has not been a single system seller that I can realistically think of since God of War 2018.
Yeah,
there just hasn't been. Like I don't know what.
This next generation is not posed to be in a very strong position, and they can't really hit the brakes on it because of the logistics that go into creating a console. They can only push it back so far before like you end up hurting yourself more than you would have if you just released a more expensive console.
Right. Which brings us so perfectly into the next topic, which is the GTA 6 pricing and pre-orders. Oh God, I've got thoughts on this. I've been talking a lot this episode actually, so why don't you go first?
Yes, so after much hype, multiple delays, and tons of pushback, and a teaser for a fucking pre-order, Grand Theft Auto 6 went up for pre-order, base price of $80, and then a Ultimate Edition for $100. Essentially, this is their way of sneaking in. You know, Nintendo did the legwork with Mario Kart World, pricing Mario Kart at $80. Rockstar said, "Thank God, we can place it at $80, and then we'll chop out a bunch of shit and put it in the $100 thing and call it a day." And
yeah, so if you really want GTA 6 like in its proper form, it's $100. It's not $80. It's $100. That's the price.
There's been so many fucking arguments about this, but it's just like they never really went over the full scale. I know a couple of shill accounts got their marching orders and they're trying to like downplay it, but it's like you're like locking certain customization features and certain modification features behind stores in universe.
Yeah.
And like the fact that it's like part of like a store chain being shut down like puts a very bad taste. It's not like a like boot up the game and it says like, oh, you got this and this, because or loading it to existing stores. You're closing off parts of the world.
Yeah,
And it's
which
just
is
like
bullshit.
that's just a bad way to put it. Like I'm apparently, and this happened with Red Dead Redemption 2 also, is that there are like a handful of story missions that will also be locked behind the ultimate thing. So, you know, it's they this is them having their cake and eating it too. You know, like we'll just do it what the last guy did at the highest possible price point, and then we'll go for that 100 because, you know, everybody, all the journalists, the insiders, the bankers, everyone's just like, it really should be $100. I think that would be best for the market, and it's led to this open pre-order period, which might be one of the most ridiculous I've ever seen, where you have streamers and people going, "You guys should just buy the 100. If you don't, you're just broke. You're just poor, bro." Like
you shouldn't be allowed around video games. Like, go fuck yourself.
They're turning it into a status symbol. There's like this class of consumer that, like, if they had the money, they'd be buying the Ferraris and like the expensive cars and flying in private jets. But like, they're in that broke bitch area too, so they treat that $100 game as like a fucking like luxury. Like if you bought like a really nice watch or a cool pair of sneakers or some shit, only it's about video games. They get so fucking defensive about this, and it's working in Rockstar's favor because like it's like, while I do think that actually the negative feedback has been pretty strong against Rockstar, the fact that there's people out there defending $100 games with like shill marketing tactics or like fucking, you know, no thought process behind it. Because like I see people going like, bro, you're gonna be playing this game for 15 years. Like, you're gonna be playing this game for like a decade. And number one, it's not even true, because people are just like, well, people were playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for that many years. Like, no, they're playing Grand Theft Auto Online. I guarantee you, different. Like 80%, 90 even. I'll go that high. 90% of the people that play Grand Theft Auto Online religiously have not touched the campaign, or have not touched the campaign since the game came out originally. So no, I won't, like, even if I pick this up, I wouldn't be playing it for a decade. When's the last time I played the good ones like Vice City or Grand Theft Auto 4? I haven't played those in a hot second. You think I'm going to be playing this new overpriced piece of shit for that much? Oh, that's another thing. We don't know what the gameplay looks like yet, Dan. And people are defending it like up and down, like it's
after you were done.
Yeah,
we have no idea what this game looks like outside of the trailers that were already like put together pixel by pixel. Yeah, the fact of the matter is that we just have no idea what this game looks like outside of
guesses.
2.5-minute long trailers, something like that.
Something like that.
I'm sorry, like, this is just not worth $100. It's not even worth $80. And the fact that Rockstar is able to get away with this, basically on the grounds of popularity, is just criminal.
It's a weird cultural thing. Like, I'm seeing like psychosis level shit, Dan, the way that people are talking about it. I saw a streamer that said like, bro, when this comes out, you guys should quit your jobs. You're gonna come play in my lobby, and you'll just live there and work 9 to 5. I'm just like, what do you think this game is gonna give you? It's gonna be a competent, somewhere between competent and great. You know, I'll give it to them. Who knows? Maybe Grand Theft Auto 6 has an amazing campaign. I don't know. Nobody fucking knows because we haven't seen it. But I'm just kidding. It's going to be somewhere between competent and great. It's not going to revolutionize anything.
Yeah.
It's going to be polished to a ridiculous, you know, degree where we're talking like interiors of cars. It's going to be GTA 5,
but bigger and more polished. That's exactly what it's going to be.
That's a good way to put it. It's going to be the next Grand Theft Auto. And I don't want, like, it's so weird whenever we talk about this. I don't want to slight Grand Theft Auto because they're not inherently awful experiences. They're just mainstream, heavily polished, sometimes good, sometimes just okay. You know, it's like, but people are so wrapped up in this with all the memes and the hype around. Like, everyone's just like, oh, you know, we got this before, you know, Grand Theft Auto 6. Somebody actually pointed out, this is crazy, the entirety of the Destiny franchise happened in between Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out and Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out. And I'm just like, I'm just sitting here going, you don't see the problem with that development strategy. That doesn't inherently make it, just because the game was in development for like, or like hasn't come out in over a decade, that doesn't make the game inherently good just because you waited longer for it.
I I think barring Star Citizen, it is the most expensive game in production ever.
Oh, it's ridiculously priced. And
Yeah.
so the other thing I would say about this is that like the whole psychosis thing around it is you have people who, if you say like, hey, I don't know if I'm interested in this, they'll, they do the whole thing where it's like, that's just because you're broke, that's just because you can't afford it, or they come at you like, you imagine all the money you spent on Madden and FIFA and Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto since the original Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. I'm like, I didn't spend nothing on those, buddy. I don't know what you're talking about. They're trying
Like,
to
even
they're talking
with
to
the
these
argument,
imaginable people.
that's all well and good, but that still doesn't make it right.
That doesn't justify the price at all in the slightest. And like to go beyond the whole psychosis thing is like, it's funny, like when you're not talking to these people and like, having a reasonable conversation, like, hey, I don't feel like paying this much for a video game. It seems a bit much. When they're just left to their own devices, they're picking the trailers apart saying it already looks dated because like someone's like, oh, that Ferris wheel in the background, that's not reflecting properly in the water. They made us wait this long for this much. And I'm just like, what are we doing here anymore?
Yeah.
What is this mindset? What is this mentality?
It's people derangement syndrome.
It's just crazy to me. Like, I'm willing to believe that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be very competent. I think it will have a lot of writing issues. I think it'll have a lot of pacing issues. I think there's going to be an inherent quality drop that isn't related to graphics polish and details. I think there's been turnover in the team. There's been transformation in the team. I'm not invested in Grand Theft Auto enough, and I don't trust Rockstar enough to even consider like the new norm that is 70, let alone these higher prices. And even if it was down at 60, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, like, okay, so this is where you and I differ. Like, depending on what the game actually looks like, right? Because that's a pretty huge fucking caveat right now, because we have no idea what the game is going to play like. And we had a whole conversation last week about how Rockstar games really just don't feel that great to play, like moment to moment. The controls have always been just not stellar. That's the best way I could put it. Depending on a bunch of different factors and how the game looks and everything, I'd probably pay the $60 for it. But like, you can go fuck yourself if you're asking me to do anything above that. It's just not worth it. I'll go play Darktide. I'll go play fucking Modern Warfare 4 or Helldivers or Battlefield or whatever.
I'm the guy that always tries to get you to fucking emulate stuff. I just go back and they're talking about like, oh, you would put so much time in this. If I really feel in Grand Theft Auto, I'll go boot up Vice City or San Andreas or Grand Theft Auto 4. Yeah. Like, if I really want Grand Theft Auto.
Noting that Rockstar is going to be in the very unique position to essentially charge twice for this.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not coming out on PC when the launch date is. They are only releasing it on console at first. It's probably going to be around a 6-month time gap between the console launch and the PC launch. So they're going to be able to claim like 2 different fiscal quarters, I think, or something like that. I don't really understand how it works, but they're essentially going to launch the game twice, once on console, once on PC, which is going to do incredible things for the numbers. Number 2, do you have to pay for GTA Online? I don't know how that works.
You didn't originally need to pay for GTA Online when it came out for Grand Theft Auto 5. I have a feeling they're going to double dip. I think you're going to be charged somewhere between $20 and $60. I think Grand Theft Auto Online. If it's completely free at this point, I'd be surprised. I think they're going to try and get as much money as possible from this.
At the very least, some sort of a subscription model.
Yeah, I think. Well, the funny thing is, it actually comes with, you get GTA Plus, their subscription model, for free, but it's one of those subscriptions that auto charges you after the fact. And people are up in arms on that for obvious reasons. It's scummy. But
literally every subscription model with a free trial does that. Literally every single one. Yeah, that's how they get their member bases. Yeah. But it still remains to be seen, like, how good the game itself is going to be as a video game. Everybody knows it's going to sell an obscene amount of units. It's going to be one of the highest grossing, if not the highest grossing, entertainment release in entertainment history. But like, they're just got their heads so far up their ass, I feel like, or at the very least, this fanatical psychosis affected community does. it just the whole thing is kind of gross, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
I'm just sick of it.
And
They've
yeah,
successfully hyped it up enough that I just don't give a fuck anymore.
yeah, it's definitely like it's regardless of whether we talk about like the people around it. It's just like the hype does not meet anywhere near what the final product's going to be.
Yeah,
I do think
I'm not a GTA hater. I love GTA for I thought it was one of the best games that I've ever played.
It's very good.
I like GTA 5, especially when it first came out. It was a really good game in my opinion. I know you have your issues with it, but I don't think it was GTA 4 level.
But I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, their track record is pretty damn good, right? GTA
It's
3,
slow.
yeah, San Andreas, Vice City, all the expansions, and then you have 4 and 5, and 5 is really what put GTA on the map, I think. And now we have 6, which is just suffering from the franchise's own success, I think, at the end of the day. And I'm not a GTA hater. I'm just done with it being shoved down my throat, I guess.
Yeah.
If the game is good, I'll be the first guy to say that it's good. I'm not afraid to be wrong or swallow my words.
The factors outside of it, like we don't. There are very few outside external issues that'll make me judge a game or an entire company.
Yeah.
Like so, this is just like I have a lot to say about the people around it, the lunatics, the fanatics, the scummy business practices, but I haven't like written off the game as an experience. Not saying I'm going to buy it, but I haven't written the game off. I can't sit there and go, oh, it's bad. I have my guesses as to what it's going to feel like and look like, but we're not quite at that point yet. And Dan, with all this, we didn't even get to the part that it's digital only.
Oh, that's right. They're not doing hard copy media at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And their excuse is that they wanted to avoid leaks, but I'm sorry, but like fuck off.
So
don't give me that.
I was expecting them to not do physical releases out of the gate. I was not expecting the follow-up news that it would never get a physical release either, which is what a lot of people are saying. And on top of all this bullshit, if you go to a like the PlayStation storefront, like there were periods of time, maybe even right now, where it said out of stock. The fuck do you mean out of stock? It's a digital product. You can't just. It was this artificial scarcity. Like I don't understand what it's. Everything about this game around it is just handled so horribly. But like I guess I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that'll just see like the clapping people in the audience and like think that's fine or whatever. But yeah, just it's a fucking disaster, top to bottom mess, terrible, awful. I have nothing else really to say.
The marketing team. Like they did their job, right? The whole fucking planet is anticipating the release of this game. I think it's just the fact that you and I are more of a rational disposition that we're able to kind of see through it. And I'm not trying to say we're geniuses or anything, or we know something everybody else doesn't. But like you and I have very seldomly bought into hype in almost any game, with the exception of shit from our childhoods, but that doesn't really count in my opinion.
I get you.
But this is just it's excessive. It's excessive to the point where like I really just wanted to stop.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But on that note, we gotta wrap this up. I think we could do a really small slice of life. No, actually, no, because the one that I had this week, I thought it was really, really cool, and I would love to talk about it more, but I just don't have the time.
That's fine.
I think we might be able to. We'll just save it for next week. I don't want to force anything.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I personally apologize to the audience for the choppy nature of this episode because I had some shit going on that I had to handle. So if Anthony's editing is sloppy, I apologize. It was my fault.
My editing's never sloppy.
But anywho, if you're still listening, thank you very much for listening. This was episode 112 of the Pre-Game Network podcast, and we will be back next week to discuss more stuff and things in the realm of video games. So see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.